in the morning, he demanded his fare back. And the small-bodied conductor refused. This man's emotion, who was well-built, dressed in a suit, could not handle his emotions. Chose to do what Kenyans will do. Nitashuka na wewe. And he shook at the conductor. But the conductor was so swift and agile. He moved round and gave him a few blows. And this smartly dressed man was bleeding. And I will say the whole problem was not the change, which he was denied. It was that he lost the leadership of his emotions and chose to act out of the pain and the frustration created by the conductor. And the response that was associated with this emotion was wrong. And it led him to be beaten. And I think he could not go to wherever he was going anymore because he had become dirty, he was bleeding, his shirt was stained because he failed to manage emotions. So our level of emotional intelligence is determined by our responses and our expressions. I've been involved in interviews and I've observed a few interesting things that some people may not be intelligent enough to discover how they look when they're under tension. Intelligence is the ability to know how do I even look physically and how do I need to look so that I can be able to get the results I need. One of my friends was disliked by many people. And people used to say she's arrogant. So that feedback that she got was an interesting feedback. She chose to receive it positively out of a growth that she has begun in her journey of emotional intelligence and said, why do people tell me this? And she discovered that she normally carried a very tough looking face when she talked to people. Now, intelligence is discovering that I have a projection of an emotion that I do not want or intend to project and being able to change. This lady was sharing in a meeting that she was deliberate to begin managing her facial expression, how she was looking. And she made a choice to begin smiling more often. So she was controlling even her physical outlook, her expression of emotions by that decision that since I am projecting the wrong emotions to others, I am getting wrong results, I am going to change on how I project myself. I want to pose these reflection questions. A statement. Some wars are only won by losing some battles. Think about this. Emotional intelligence is understanding that some wars are only won by losing some battles. One day, I was involved in a discussion, part of my work, with the donor, one of the staff of the donor office. And they spoke so terribly to me. Actually, they raised their voice. Inside me, I was burning to answer back and saying, you can't talk to me like that. There was an eagerness to respond. But I withheld my statements of anger. I withheld my statement of advocacy that I can defend myself here. You can't talk to me like that because you are the one who is in power. That was the feeling inside of me. But by the grace of God, I was able to hold my calm. My staff who had joined me in the meeting really felt bad for me, that our boss is being rubbished, if I can use that word. But I stayed my cool and maintained my calm. And he finished and I apologized for whatever accusation he had held against our organization. For 1 week, I kept feeling I lost an opportunity to express my heart out. I felt terrible within me. But I went to read a book called The Art of War. I was reading a book called The Art of War. And I realized that I was victorious that day. As I began by saying, he who has control over his emotions is more honorable than a great warrior. So